I have to laugh because I was in the middle of making a video for you all, and I was at about 20 minutes at that point, and the camera just said storage is full and it stopped recording. That is God's way of saying, Julie, nobody wants to hear this. Listen, you just missed it. I went on a tangent. And not only that, I started crying. Because let me tell you, since we've gotten home from Florida the last 3 days, I have been in meltdown, shutdown mode. My autistic brain has not been able to transition very well back to reality, back to this travel trailer. After being out in the beautiful nature, after seeing the water, walking in the grass, just all this stuff that I've been longing to do. And now we're back here again, cooped up in this tiny little trailer. The temperature outside is like well over 100 degrees. And like, I've been having a lot of meltdowns over it. There is a silver lining though. By the end of this year, we will be in a house. It's not like this is it. Like, my husband, we're doing all that we can right now to get stuff in order to get into a house. But it just takes time. It's a process. And so, but I have to keep reminding myself to have gratitude. I must have gratitude because it was in 2009, I lost a child. I was 24 weeks pregnant and with a baby girl, and I lost her. She had a severe birth defect, and I lost her, and it was so devastating. It was, talk about trauma. It was horrible. And then I had to go back to work, and everybody thought that because I worked as a bank teller at the time, and all the customers thought that I had her. And so they were like, oh, you had your baby. And I had to be like, a lot of the customers were told beforehand what happened and so they knew not to ask me anything. But there were a few of those stragglers that didn't know. And so that was rough. I had to be like, no, I didn't really have her. She's with God now, and she's in heaven. And anyway, but the reason I'm telling you this is because after she passed, part of my healing, I started doing scrapbooks and all things angels and glitter and butterflies, girly stuff. And another thing I did was I started a journal, and it was basically thanking God for my child, because I wanted so badly to have a daughter. I already had 2 sons, and I just wanted to experience having a daughter. And, I lost my mom when I was 17. And so I really longed to have a daughter so I could have that mother-daughter bond relationship. And other than that, I just thought it would be so awesome to also be a mother to a girl, along with my boys. And so I wrote a journal, and I thanked God for this future baby. And long and behold, like almost 2 years later, I gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby girl, and we named her Piper, and she'll be 16 this year, and I miss her a lot. I haven't seen her in 10 years. Parental alienation sucks. I know I shouldn't say that word, but there's nothing else really to say about that other than it really just blows. But I know one day it won't last forever. I know one day things will change, but it's just having to realize all the things you're missing and just wanting to be so badly be a part of their lives, and you just can't right now. But I know things will change. I know they will. They have to. But I wrote that gratitude journal, and it came true. I prayed believing I already received it, and it happened. So with all these meltdowns that I've had since I've gotten home, just over the slightest little things, but to me they're not slight. To a neurotypical person, they're slight. To me, they're not. They're huge potholes in the road for me. For an autistic brain, it's like the transition is not going smoothly from vacation to reality. I shouldn't say reality. From vacation to non-vacation. The transition is not going smoothly. And it's really, a lot of it I've noticed is my sensory, the texture of things, the way that things feel on my skin. My OCD right now is through the roof. Through the roof, my OCD is. Every little thing just gets under my skin, and it's like, sometimes I feel like my brain's gonna explode. And which reminds me, I have to ask my therapist if I see her this Friday, because she never responded. Because I need to have that talk therapy right now. I haven't been able to see her because we've been gone, and I had to cancel an appointment before we left because I had to do something else. And so I haven't seen her in a while, and I really, really, really need to talk to her. But anyway, this morning just started off crazy. I woke up, and normally what's waking me up the last couple weeks, well, we've been gone, but even before we left, what has been waking me up early in the morning, I'm talking like 5-6 o'clock in the morning, is the heat. Even though the AC is running, the walls of a travel trailer are not thick. So when the sun starts coming up, it's hot. It's all get out. It's hot. So I've been waking up feeling warm, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And so that's how I woke up again this morning. Just, I was feeling very hot in my sleep, and it woke me up. And before I even had my eyes all the way open, I put my hand down on the bed to kind of, it was at the end of the bed, because I had already got up off the side of the bed, and I was walking around to get out into this main area. But when I got to the end of the bed, I put my hand down to kind of steady myself. Y'all, I put my hand in dog puke. My dog got sick. Sorry, I know that's gross. So I had to clean all that up. That was first and foremost. That's the first thing that hit me. Then I came out here to make coffee, and my coffee mug was dirty, so I had to clean that. But upon cleaning that, I realized that my husband left me a beautiful mess. He did. He made grits this morning. Those are fun to clean. So he left me that, but I am grateful that he is providing for us. And so I came over here and made my coffee, but I had to empty out this thing. And as upon emptying it into the trash, I learned that on the ground next to the trash was a bunch of other wet coffee grains from him. Y'all, my husband is not neat. My husband is very, very messy by nature. He just it doesn't compute. The word clean doesn't compute. I asked him the other day, I said, I'd love to have a conversation with your mom. She passed away. I never got to meet her. But I would love to have a conversation with her, because you know what he told me? He said, oh, my mom did everything for me. We never had to go around and pick up after ourselves. She did all that. Mom, you raised a monster. She did. So, yeah, he's grown full adult, and he just has that in his brain that it's going to be done for him. So, and as many times as I say something, it doesn't fix it, because it's embedded in his brain that somebody will be behind him to clean it up. Anyway, so yeah, I made a whole video and it just shut off. God was like, nobody wants to hear it, Julie. Nobody wants to hear that. And he's probably right, because I was telling you a story about how I had a meltdown at the security checkpoint on the way home. Oh, yeah. I had an umbrella in my tote bag because I just want to be prepared for everything. But then I saw on the sign in the line that there was a picture of an umbrella with a smashed out sign over it, like no umbrella. And I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to get rid of my umbrella. So I started freaking out about having to throw my things away. And I didn't notice that on the way to Florida. I only noticed it on the way back. And through Tampa's security checkpoint. I didn't notice that in the Phoenix checkpoint. So I got really like overwhelmed. And there was so many people around and my husband's behind me asking me a bunch of questions. Dude, no. That's a recipe for disaster. And it was. Because as soon as my little plastic bin came shooting out of the thing, after I was allowed to go to the gate, I put my bin down on the ground. I didn't care. There's people stepping over me, stepping around me. I didn't care. I had to get all my stuff out of the bin, and I flew over to this bench over off in the corner, and I just started sobbing. I was having a meltdown. Autistic meltdown. It was fun. Not. And I've been that way ever since. I had a meltdown this morning. I had a meltdown yesterday. The meltdowns, I'm not screaming. They're not meltdowns where I'm throwing stuff. They're meltdowns where I get so overwhelmed with the slightest little thing that I just start crying. I feel like I just don't have it in me to deal. So I cry. My body just cries. So my goal, my plan for this morning, being that it's Monday and that I have this place to myself and no one's home so I can make a video, my goal was to continue reading our book, The Way of the Warrior, and continue my study on the Book of Ruth before I bring it to you all. But that has gotten put on hold because I have to take my bedding down to the laundry room down the street to wash it because of what I told you earlier in the video about my dog. So I have to do all that before it gets extremely hot outside, which it's already hot, but it's going to get hotter. The hottest part of the day is between 2 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the hottest part of our day out here in the desert. So it's 10:30 in the morning right now, so I need to start moving. I need to get down there. And my body's not ready to move. Like, I have aches and pains, and like I'm not fully ready to even do anything yet. And anyway, so yeah, I'm really overwhelmed. My OCD is out of control. The transition is not going very well. And I just thought I would make a video and explain it to you about autistic brains and transitioning from major, like, shifts. They're not easy at all. For me, anyway. It takes me, I don't know when things will start to feel, like, settled again. Probably not until we're out of this travel trailer for good. Because with the heat coming and having to blast the AC constantly throughout the day, like right now, it's not that bad outside, so I only have the one AC going out here. But we have to hook up this third Toshiba machine where a hose goes out the window. It's real pretty. Not. And that will blow more cold air into this travel trailer, because this travel trailer is not designed for the desert. In fact, I don't see why people live in travel trailers. I used to think it was cool. Now I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? It's not cool. It's a huge inconvenience. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head, and I am grateful for everything that I have. And I have to say that every time I get overwhelmed and start talking about things that make me uncomfortable, I have to practice gratitude, because there's a lot of people out there that have nothing. There's a lot of people out there that are receiving the worst news of their life today. And I just have to really keep myself in check in that area, because sometimes my complaining gets out of control, and then I feel guilty afterwards. So, but I'm gonna go wash the bedding and get all that done. So if I don't come back on later with our book, I promise you tomorrow we're gonna get back on track with our videos, with our book read, and we're gonna start our Bible study this week of the Book of Ruth. And I have a little bit of some paperwork that I have to finish up. I don't like forms. I do not like filling out paperwork in forms. I hate it. I wish I could just like speak it and not have to write everything down, because it's very repetitive. It's I just don't like forms. Me and forms, like when I go to the doctor's office or I go anywhere and they're like, here, fill out this paperwork, I'm like, ugh, no, I don't like paperwork. My brain does not like paperwork. I don't like forms. Ugh. You know what really gets me? When I used to work, filling out applications for jobs. They ask you to attach your resume to the application, but yet you have to still fill out your work history. You have to fill out all of your skills. Like, why even attach your resume if they're going to make you write it all down anyway? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. There's a lot of things I don't get of this world. Like, why do we have to pay for water? Why do we have to pay for electricity? Like, who down the line said, oh, let's start charging people for this stuff so we can make a buck? Like, there's so many things I don't understand about this life. But one thing I do understand is I got to get my patootie down to the laundry room and get this bedding washed, because it needs it. So stay tuned for our book read later, and thank you for listening to me this morning. I am going through a really rough time right now. I'm going through meltdown galore. And my OCD is like through the roof. So okay, I'll be back later. Until then, have a good one. I'll see you soon.